I'm trying to put my computer to sleep, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Here it goes. Okay. Because that was kind of loud. What's up? Hello, everybody. I hope all is well with you today. We're going to be talking about mind over matter when it comes to being plant-based and talking about my plant-based journey and getting into that and sharing with you how I got here, being almost 4 years into being plant-based, as well as just, making it clear, making it plain of how easy it can be once you get past the thought of doing it and getting past the thoughts of, I don't know if I can do this. This is going to be so difficult. This is going to be so hard. I'm never going to be able to enjoy the foods that I want to consume or want to eat anymore. Because in reality, it's really all about the mindset that you have. It's all about the negative thoughts that you have. It's all about the worries and the fears that you have and the stressors of thinking about doing something new that is keeping you from changing your lifestyle. And so as we sit here and prepare and wait for people to get in, I want you to understand that, first of all, if you are suffering from anything going on inside of your body, if you're having any issues when it comes to digestion, if you're having any issues when it comes to you being regulated as far as your hormones, if you're having fatigue, if you're having mental fog, if you're sitting there dealing with things that come or stem from inflammation, it all can be released if you start using food as your medicine. If you understand where it comes from when it comes to diseases and illnesses, where it actually stems from, where it manifests from, then you understand that every single action and habit that you have when it comes to the foods that you consume and the products that you use are the reason why you are ill. They're the reason why you're not getting the healing that you deserve and the healing that you need. And it's the reason why that so many people are sitting here fitting themselves in this box of normal and then leading themselves to having diseases earlier and earlier. We're seeing chronic illness get worse. We're seeing people younger and younger having heart attacks and leaving this earth and having all of these cancers and different things that weren't going on before this new generation of foods. Really, that's just really what it is. And so when you look and you observe the fact that we're not using food how it used to be, yet we keep quoting the same old quotes of they ate meat, they ate dairy, they did all these different things. Look at how society is. It's not the same. Look at how we're suffering. Look at how the animals are treated. How many of us actually have a farm to go and get food from? Yes, there are farmers markets, but are you going to those farmers markets? Are you truly going and knowing who's raising your cows, knowing who's raising your chickens, knowing how your food is being produced? No, you don't. You don't even know the simple fact of the fact that when you go and you get these frozen foods and you get these different meats from these companies that mass produce meat in different foods, that you don't understand the fact that when you're sitting there consuming and not aware, they not only cut cancer out of your meat, because it's been shown, there have been plenty of whistleblowers that tell you that these companies that make profit off of you not realizing, you not knowing, make millions of dollars a year when it comes to the food industry and the meat industry alone and dairy industry alone. They see that these products that they freeze, give to you, serve to you on a plate, have cancer when they are first slaughtered. They know the animal is sick. They give them antibiotics all through their life. So not only do they have an antibiotic in their body, they're resistant to the whatever parasite. The parasite is resistant to whatever antibiotic they have. But they're also sitting there cutting the cancer out they've developed because they've been so inflamed all of their life. Now you have that served on a platter in front of you on a plate. And you don't even know that because you don't do any research when it comes to our food and our industry. And so if you do not know who I am, hi, my name is Kendra. I have lived plant-based for over 3 years, going on 4 in October. And so I want you to understand that this is possible. It's not somebody who is sitting here suffering. This is not somebody who is sitting here Miss Skinny Mini and doesn't want to be. I'm not somebody who can't hold weight, who can't hold a protein, doesn't know how to give my body nutrients, but rather somebody who is sitting here and telling you, I was dealing with chronic inflammation. I had asthma. I was having knee pain. I was developing hip pain and all types of hip issues because I had never had that happen, but my hip was locking up and I was an active child. I played volleyball, I played softball. I was doing 1 or 2 sports at a time a year. I was very active. There was no reason for me to be having knee pain in 5th grade, wearing 2 knee braces, 1 on each knee, wearing a copper tone brace because that's what they tell you to do. Then I was told by 20 I was going to have a knee surgery, 22, excuse me. I didn't want to have a knee surgery. I never want to have a surgery. Then I realized that I didn't deserve to be this way. Why have I been this way since I was a child? Started to do a little bit of research, started to understand what journey that I was on when it came to my health and how my unhealthy habits were leading me down an unhealthy life, an unhealthy lifestyle journey that I did not want to be on. And so since I did not want to be in that space, I stopped it dead in that track. In 2020, I started doing more research. I started to learn about the GMOs that they put in our food. In 2019, they had started doing genetically modified pigs. They started ramping that up, and it wasn't for human consumption, but they did start producing them massively so that they could do that eventually. And now here we are in 2024, and you have GMO pigs, you have GMO cows, you have GMO chickens, you have genetically modified products when it comes to your processed foods. All of that was literally an agenda that they have been setting up for so long. Genetically modified fruits and vegetables have been here. Yes, everybody loves to say that. And everybody loves to sit there and say, well, how do you know that your fruits and vegetables are organic and non-GMO? How do you know the meat that you love so much? How do you know the dairy that you love so much is not GMO? You don't. But I know what my fruits and vegetables are because there are tell signs to show you if your fruits and vegetables are GMO or if they're real, authentic, they're natural, actual DNA. They're not modified. But when you're sitting there eating meat, especially when you're eating meat that's prepared by somebody else, you don't know if it had cancer. You don't know if it's actually GMO because they feed these animals genetically modified crops. They feed them soy products, all corn is GMO. Over 90% of soy is GMO. And they feed that to these animals. Just because it says that they're grass-fed, just because it says that they're all natural, grass-fed, organic, does not mean that they're not also feeding them GMOs. Because at the end of the day, they could be raised grass-fed, free range, and still lie to you and not tell you the fact that, yes, they're giving these animals GMO soy and corn because they label GMO soy and corn as organic. They're allowed to do that because there's so many different loopholes in our food industry. And so I sat there and I was doing research during 2020 while we were sitting there in the house. We didn't know what we were going to do. Everybody was panicking. I took that time to sit there and reevaluate what was going on. Why was I so sick so early on? Why was I sitting there having knee pain so early on? Why in the world did I develop asthma in high school when nobody in my family has asthma? All of these are questions that I needed answers to. And so as I sat there and realized that I had the wrong foundation because the foundation that I was standing on was rocky. My weight was fluctuating. That's rocky. My hormones were all over the place. That's rocky. My anxiety was high. My depression was in and out, going in between depression episodes, having panic attacks. All of that is the epitome of a rocky foundation. Everything that I was reevaluating was showing me that I was in balance with the habits that I had. And so my foundation was so off. I had nothing to fall back on when I had a hard day, except for me struggling. Thanks for all the follows, guys. But then I realized the fact that if I started to make conscious choices and changed, that rocky foundation became stable. I started to understand how to stabilize myself internally. All by using food as my medicine, and all by understanding that the products that I was using when it came to bleach and Lysol, and you sitting here going and using Fabuloso and putting that on a pot and heating it up on the stove, you sitting there using this Pine Sol all over your floor, all of that is making you inflamed. All of that is full of chemicals. And you do not deserve to be sitting there putting chemicals all over your home, absorbing that in through your nostrils, through your skin. And then you also don't realize that that is absorbed into your liver. They are cutting these bodies open and finding out the fact that their insides are smelling like Febreze and Lysol and your plugins and all this different stuff that you're using that are heavy chemicals that are full of all these smells. You're not understanding that we are taught to poison ourselves, and there's an alternative. You don't have to be sitting here poisoning yourself. When you become aware, it's not just oh, everything is poison, I can't have anything, and then you go cry in a corner. No, now it's time for you to understand that you have to change. Yes, you said you love the scent of pine sol. I love the scent of detergent. I used to literally sit there while I was washing clothes and sniff the detergent, not realizing how toxic that is, not realizing that all I was doing was loving the fragrance of the chemicals, because all they do is, fragrance is not regulated. Perfume is not regulated. When something is labeled fragrance, perfume, and it's not actually labeled tea tree oil, or it's authentic, like, you know, long form of its name, not just the name that we've given it for a nickname, but its actual like design name of like, I don't know what it is, but it's like Trifielis or something, you know what I mean? If it's not like that and it just says fragrance, it just says perfume, that's chemicals. All they did was mix a combination of different chemicals to achieve the smell that they wanted. There can be hundreds of chemicals in your perfume. There can be hundreds of chemicals in your body wash, all just for fragrance alone. That's not even including the titanium dioxide, the sodium phosphates, the citric acid. That's not even including the titanium dioxides and all these different things that they add inside to make it stable, to make it colorful, to make it whatever. And you're not realizing that these companies are profiting off of you not being consciously aware of what you're consuming and what you're doing to your body. Anything that you put on your skin is absorbed within 24 seconds of coming in contact with it. Anything. So think about how many years you've been rubbing fragrances and perfumes all across your skin and how much you've absorbed in your skin. Think about how many years you've sat here and eaten these chemicals, because that's the same chemicals that they put in your food. Why is it allowed that they can put these same chemicals in your food, also in your body wash? Why do we have products that are allowed to be on our counters that are supposed to be safe, that are chemicals, and if you ingest them, you have to go to the hospital or call poison control? Everything that I have, not saying that it would taste good, but everything that I have in my home that I use on a regular basis, that I allow to come in contact with my body or on my body or in my body, it can be consumed without me having to call poison control. Yeah, it might make me sick and it might be disgusting, but I'm not going to be poisoned like you would if you were sitting there eating Tide Pods like they were in 2020, drinking bleach like they were told by a certain person that's supposed to be ahead of this country. That was supposed to be, rather. And so you have to understand that your health all starts with you becoming consciously aware. If you're not sitting there living the healthy lifestyle that you want and that you deserve, if you are not seeing the experiences that you want and you deserve when it comes to your health, you have to reevaluate what conscious choices are you making, or subconscious choices that you are making, that is keeping you from the unhealthy habits that you deserve and that you want. What is keeping you in this space of not healing and sick? Because you have to sit there and realize your body is a healing mechanism. Your body is a healing vessel. So if you are not healing, you have something that is blocking it. And that rocky foundation, like I once was, that we just talked about, that instability is going to keep you from the healthy habits and the healing that you deserve. It's going to keep your body blocked. But if you want to release that block, if you want to understand how to sit there and support your body with food, it all starts with the mindset of making conscious choices. It all starts with you getting out of the space of thinking, I can't do this. Eating healthy is a salad and I'm not going to be happy. I can't go without my meat and my dairy because I'm going to be malnourished. Get out of that mindset, because here I am speaking to you as somebody that's almost 4 years into this lifestyle. I'm not malnourished. I'm not hungry. I'm not sitting here struggling and suffering. I have more energy than I ever did on the meat, dairy, additive lifestyle that it was. And I realized very early on how we have been misled. I realized very early on that the only reason why we keep sitting here passing down the generational curse of illness and diseases and cancer is because of the terrible habits that we have, and we continuously keep doing those terrible habits. The illness and disease is not running in your family. The illness and disease is not the problem. The problem is you have terrible habits that have been passed down from your mother, that has been passed down from your father, your grandmother, your grandfather, and so forth, going all the way back. And everybody has done the same things, and nobody has changed. Nobody has sat there and realized the fact that the reason why your body and everybody in your family develops diabetes and insulin resistance is because nobody in your family knows how to take care of their body with natural sugars. But everybody knows how to cook up a good cobbler with a whole bunch of sugar in it. Everybody in your family knows how to tell each other the best snacks that you found in the grocery store, but nobody knows how to flip the back around and look at the ingredients. Look deeper than just you seeing, oh, it has 55 calories, but looking at and seeing that it has 20 grams of sugar. Looking at the back and seeing that it has no natural sugars. It's all processed white sugar. Looking at the back and realizing that brown sugar and white sugar are the same thing. Brown sugar just has molasses added to it. It's still white sugar. That is highly processed, highly addictive, and it's terrible for you. You don't realize these things because you sit there and you're complacent and you keep doing what everybody else is doing to fit in this box of normal. You're programmed by TV. You're programmed by all of these different programming stations. Not realizing that they teach you to break your fast at 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the a.m. and you wonder why you're eating all day long. Because your body was not designed to be hungry that early. Yet you're telling yourself you need to wake up and drink you some coffee, no water, and no fruit. You break your fast with coffee, which is not good for you. It throws off your gut balance. It throws off your gut biome. And if you're not drinking it black, that's even worse because now you're adding sugars. You're adding different syrups. And so that's a bunch of sugar once again. And then also they have dyes in them. They have additives and fillers in them. And you're breaking your fast this way. This is how you're starting your day. And if you do this every day, every single day you wake up and you sit there and you throw off your gut biome every single day. That's not okay. Thanks for the follows, guys. And when you become conscious and you realize that you need to start replacing your unhealthy habits with new ones, you'll sit there and you'll realize, what have I been doing that's been throwing off my gut balance? Maybe I don't need to eat at 9 o'clock. I've just trained my body to be hungry at this time. I can wait till 12 because that's what I started. When we were in the house in 2020, I started doing where I would work out at 10 o'clock. When we were stuck in the house, keep in mind, I had nothing to do on my schedule. I had work out between 10:30 would be the time that I'd start working out. I wouldn't eat something until after 12. I made that my mission. I was no longer eating breakfast because at the end of the day, when I start eating breakfast earlier, because I sit there and think that I'm hungry at 7 a.m., here I am eating at 7, eating at 10, eating at 12, eating again at 5, eating again at 6, having snacks, having meals, whatever I can get my hands on because I'm hungry or I'm thinking that I'm hungry. But in reality, I have activated my stomach earlier than it needed to. It made me more hungry waking up and breaking my fast that early because I didn't put myself in the space that my body was able to release and reset itself. Because you have to understand, when you get to the space, regardless of how long you're fasting, if you fast 10 hours, 12, 20, 24, 72, whatever, when you get to a certain point, your body is no longer having to work to digest, but rather it's releasing the process of going to digest. And now it's to the space where it can start releasing toxins. It gets to the point where now it can get everything that is backed up and stored inside of you. And so when you think about that and you think about if you are consuming that early and you eat all day, how much is backed up inside of you? Because majority of society is not eating enough fiber. They're not getting enough water if they even drink any water. And those are two essentials for things to be flowing and moving in your body. So think about the fact that they add fake fiber into our food. They give us fiber 1 bars. They give us added fiber inside of our additives, processed foods, and our additives and all these other things inside of our processed foods. Think about the fact that they're giving us fake fiber that our body does not digest and absorb. And so since you sit there and you're eating all this crap and you're not digesting correctly, it's not moving the way that it needs to, and nothing is being used as nutrients because it's a bunch of junk, how backed up are you? And then I give you another thought. Since you are backed up, because I can guarantee majority of people in here that do not know how to cleanse correctly and do not understand the importance of you not breaking your fast with a bunch of junk, but using water and you going to get a water-based fruit. Think about the fact that when you are eating meat and you're eating dairy, especially meat rots and decays. When you see meat rot and decaying on the side of the road, what happens? Roadkill, it's getting picked on by other animals, and then on top of that, maggots and flies and everything else that's designed to help it break down starts to flock to it. Meat has parasites. Think about what it's doing inside of your body when you're not releasing it on a regular basis. Think about how those parasites are thriving in that inflammation state, because that's where they thrive. That's where they love to be, in a space that's inflamed. They love to sit there with that rotting meat and feed off of that rotting meat and then produce more and more. How many years have you been building up parasites and feeding parasites? How deep are they in your digestive system? Really sit there and think about the habits that you have. And become consciously aware of the fact that the foundation that you believe is the healthy habits that you need, this believing in the my plates, believing in the food pyramids, is the foundation that is leading you down the same path of everybody else, which is making you ill. It's time for us to realize that in order for you to have the transformation in your health that you deserve and that you want, it all starts with you replacing the unhealthy habits. It all starts with the mindset that you have to think that you have not been taught how to take care of your body. All of your life you have been mistaught. You have been misled. And that's okay. Nobody's jumping on you. This is a safe space. But it's time for you to realize that now this has been brought to your attention. It's time to change that for yourself, because you deserve better. And that's what I wanted for myself. I saw the physical transformation, but first I wanted that transformation far as me mentally. The clarity that I got during 2020 of me realizing the fact that like the anxiety was outward. It was outward. Me being able to be home and cook my own meals and be able to, because I wasn't even plant-based then, but I started to make healthier choices. I started to support myself. I realized the fact that all the external was keeping me unhealthy. All the external was not allowing me to have a discerning thought, and for me to realize the fact that I was so conformed to this world that that's the reason why I was thrown off. But once I became aware how transformation was possible for me, for the simple little habits that I had from changing from stopping eating ramen, I stopped eating like Lucky Charms and cereal, and early in the AM, if I did have cereal, it was like one or two different brands that I had that still weren't good, but it was me weaning myself off. I got away from eating hot chips early in the AM, eating hot chips, period. I stopped doing all of that. I stopped eating a whole bunch of crap. And I saw the transformation in me, my fatigue, my anxiety, my depression, my panic attacks, all of that transformed. All of that changed. It all starts with you realizing that the food habits that we are taught is not teaching us how to support our body, but just to fill it. Just to fill it to make it to the next day. When I went plant-based in the beginning, my original thought was, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to have asthma. I'm tired of dealing with all this inflammation. What can I do? I started to learn about different things with the food industry in 2020. But after that, when I started to realize not only is it not getting any better, but I'm not getting any better, I just thought, well, let me just try it. It wasn't a, oh, I'm going to stick here for the rest of my life thought. It was a, let me just try it and see how it goes. And that let me just try it and see how it goes has led me to being here almost 4 years, and I will not be going back to the lifestyle that I was. I was over 200 pounds at one point in my life. I think I was at 220 was my highest. The lowest I would ever get down to was 190. The lowest I ever got down to, and that was 170. Yeah, it was 170. I had starved myself. 6 months of doing diet culture. 6 months. I got down to 170. 6 months of diet culture. And then within me being off of diet culture and going back to the lifestyle that I was living before, because I was like, well, at least I'm healthy, I'm active, I'm doing all this. Why did I gain all that weight back? 6 months of work, gained all the weight back, and then gained 20 more pounds. I think when I started that diet, I was 190, like 198-ish. So think about that. I went for 6 months got down to 170, did all of that work, starving myself, eating salads, eating bland chicken, doing, at one point in high school, I did the Whole30, like doing all of this diet culture. And within 1 month of me being off of that diet, that momentary facade, gained all the weight back. Gained more weight back after the month. Diet culture does not support us in being healthy. It's the same thing as that rocky foundation that we talked about with our habits. It supports that. That's what society's pushing on you. And I say this to you, anything that's heavily promoted by society, you need to start questioning it. Because they literally came out with a study, I think like 3 months ago, talking about the fact that keto and paleo diets are harming your cholesterol and causing people to have high blood pressure. And I think also one of them is being linked to insulin resistance. And those are two diet cultures right now that are being heavily pushed, keto and paleo. And I think they even slid in their pescatarian. And so when you sit there and you realize the fact that these habits that you have when it comes to diet culture and that instability is not sustainable. It's not going to lead you to long-term success. Yes, momentarily, because people love to say, well, my birthday's coming, or I'm getting married, or whatever's happening because there's a major event, you want to lose weight. That's fine. You can lose weight. It's easy to, well, it's not easy, but it's easy for you to achieve that goal if that's what you want. But for you to keep it and be sustainable and make it long-term success for yourself, you have to change your lifestyle. No diet is going to support you because diets are momentary. Diets are for the moment. If you want to support yourself and know how to have the long-term success and do it with ease, then you need to start living a plant-based lifestyle. And I can support you in doing that if you are ready. I'm not here to convince you that this is what you need to do and why you need to do and all this stuff. If you're suffering, if you want healing and you're searching for it, this is the place for you. But if you're skeptical, if you want to argue about meat and dairy still being healthy for you, if you believe in diet culture, if you believe in Western medicine and you want to be stuck on medications for the rest of your life, I'm not here to convince you any differently. That's your choice. But I'm here for the ones that are looking for a solution and they have not found it with all the other things that society is telling you. And I'm telling you, vegan, I am not. I am plant-based. And the difference between the two is that vegans do not care about additives and fillers and all these toxins. What they care about is sustainability for us animals in the environment. And that's okay. I love the environment. I love my animals. That's not me knocking it. But I do care about my health before anything else. And so I'm going to support myself and know what I'm putting in my body and understand that soy is throwing off your hormones. If you're eating any soy products, consuming any soy products, and they're telling you that's the healthier alternative, especially if you're eating these Beyond Meats and what is the other thing? Beyond Meat and I forgot what the other thing is, but the other crap. Those are full of soy and additives and they're not supporting you. I've never eaten one in my life and I will not eat any Beyond Meats, any Impossible, that's what it is, Impossible Meats, because all of those are toxic to your body. Tofu is the same thing as soy that's toxic to your body. They push that heavily in vegan foods. They push that heavily. Tofu is the healthy alternative. There's organic soy. I don't trust it. Majority of soy produced in the U.S. or shipped is GMO. We are the capital of producing GMO soy. I think it's at 95% or 96%. It's heavily saturated, and they don't have to tell you that it's actually organic. It's not organic. They can lie to you on labels. They have been lying to you on labels. I don't know why people are so heavily. They're so heavily deceived that they believe that they're like, yeah, that it says it's organic. It's fine. It's fine. They've been lying to you for years on other products. Why do you not think they're going to lie to you also and tell you that something's organic when they know that it's not? And I'm going to give you a prime example because I said it earlier. The prime example of them lying to you and telling you it's organic and it's not is corn. There is no organic corn. There is no non-GMO corn. All corn is genetically modified, which means it can't be organic. It's just mind-blowing that it's like they have deceived us so much that you would rather argue with somebody that's telling you like healing is possible, you can be helped, this and that can happen for you. And then the people want to get in my comments and they want to tell me, they're like, you need meat, you're missing out on proteins, you're missing out on essential vitamins and nutrients. Explain to me how, when you're B12 deficient, you're iron deficient, you have a failing liver, like how am I the one that's deficient? Explain that to me. You have high blood pressure, heart disease, you have diabetes, insulin resistance going on, your hormones are so thrown off, and you're sitting here telling me that I'm the one that's deficient? You're sitting here telling me I'm missing out on essentials, but you're sitting there with your feet swelled up and your hands swelled up because you're so inflamed and you don't realize that you're doing it to yourself with the food that you're eating. I use food as my medicine. So that means I know I'm getting every nutrient that I need because I eat a rainbow plate, and you're telling me I'm deficient. That's why I don't argue with people. I'm so quick to hit the block button. I'm serious. Like, I will hit that block button in a heartbeat. I'll give you one time, and I'm not arguing with you. I'll give you one time to explain the fact to you, let you explain yourself. And if you're coming back with me an opinion or an argument, you're blocked. I'm not here to convince you any differently. If you want to be sick and poisoned, that's fine. That's your choice. Because I talk about this all the time, about the fact that like, you're not going to make the conscious changes that you need by me trying to sit here and convince you. It's all about you wanting that for yourself. And I'm speaking as somebody who could have been told and shown how to do this, or be, led down of, you need to do this for yourself, and then being it thrown down my throat. I never would have did it. But when I was ready, I was ready. When I was ready, I started searching. I started educating myself. When I was ready to go plant-based, and that's before, that was just me educating myself on health. When I was ready to go plant-based, I was ready to go. I was ready to start understanding why in the world is my body not transforming like it needs to. Why in the world was vegan not supporting me when I first started my lifestyle change, because that's what I called myself. Then I started to realize that the actions that I had was leading me down the same path because I was following what society did of what was normal. Vegan is normal now. Vegan it's been a thing, but vegan is normal now. They have all these vegan products now. They're coming out with Impossible Meat and Beyond Meat and fast food and everything else because they're not going to miss out on that bag. But you don't realize the fact that these are the same companies that have been poisoning you for years with the foods that the oils that they cook your food in. And they also have been poisoning you with the additives that they put in your food. When you look at McDonald's, this was a shocking thing to me because I stopped eating McDonald's shortly after 2020. I got very, very sick from some McDonald's, and I shortly after stopped eating that crap. I was sitting there doing research of looking at their ingredients. Every single one of their products, including their drinks, has some type of titanium dioxide or sodium phosphate in it, or both, a combination. And that's just two that I saw. The whole list of other ingredients. And this is a while back on my TikTok, but I literally sat down and like just wrote down or typed in every single thing that was for each product on one of their ads. And it was an ad of like chicken nuggets, a burger, a drink, a McFlurry, and something else. I wrote down each ingredient for each one, and each ingredient list was like this long. Drink included. Drink included. But when you go and you get your Coca-Cola canned or bottled or whatever else and you flip it around, it has like a couple ingredients. It doesn't have a whole long list. But you don't realize the fact that they give these companies like McDonald's, Burger King, they buy the cheaper option for a reason. They give them different things for a reason. There was a recall a couple of months ago for restaurant soda streams, and they said Coke specifically. Coke tried to cover it up very quickly. It didn't work because it did get a little traction here on TikTok. But Coke tried to cover it up very quickly and just tried to change it to, I think, like soda products or something. But we all know what brand Coke is. And so when they said that there was a Coke recall on these restaurants, nobody was talking about it. When you fit in this box of normal, nobody was talking about it. For the people that eat meat and dairy and still eat at these chain restaurants, nobody was talking about it. But they had to recall it in chain restaurants because they're all using the same crappy sodas. They're all using the same crappy products, excuse me. They see you as a dollar sign and a consumer, not a person. And since they see you as a dollar sign and a consumer, they don't care that they're poisoning you. The same way they don't care about those animals that they're slaughtering and knowing that they have cancer and they live their whole life suffering. You're just like that animal to them. And you eat like one. That's the kicker. You sit there and you want to sit there and say that, you know, don't call me out my name, don't do this, and don't, but you don't even have any boundaries when it comes to food. You eat like an animal. So make it make sense how you don't have any boundaries with food, but you want somebody else to respect you. You don't have boundaries for yourself to respect yourself and show yourself love, but you want somebody else to respect you. You have to show that respect to yourself first for any energy to come to you back respectfully. And so when you sit there and you realize that you are blocking your own healing, you're blocking your own health journey because you have no boundaries with food, because you have no discerning thoughts, because you've never been taught correctly how to consume, and you want that for yourself, let me add that in there, you want that for yourself, you're going to seek the education and the help that you need and that you deserve. Thanks to all the follows, guys. But it's all about you wanting that for yourself. And if you are ready for that, I do have a plant-based cookbook that is linked in my bio that is going to support you with all the beginner recipes that I still use to this day that I absolutely love. And if you want a deeper dive into it, you can book a one-on-one with me. All of my products and services are come from a client. You can get it from Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay, whatever you need to do. And if you are ready to go plant-based completely and you need a step-by-step of what I do and how I do it, you need to be in my program. There's a 6-week option, there's a 12-week option. And that program will literally walk you start to finish of how I did it, skipping all the obstacles and all the issues that I had in the beginning of trying to figure out how to do it and start from scratch. I literally broke it down and I walk you straight through it, and you get me and access to me all through that program, to ask me questions, to have any help if you have any stumbling blocks, and just to overall be supported so you not only are eating plant-based, but you're learning how to make sustainable products. So you're not using these chemical toothpaste, mouthwash, chemical body wash, hand soap. You're not sitting here washing your clothes in chemicals and absorbing that through your skin when you sweat, because when you sweat, you absorb it. Just like how they're talking about how our clothes are made from plastic. Think about the chemicals that you are washing the plastic in, and then you sit there and you sweat in it because you're working out, or you sweat in it because you go to work, or you sweat in it because you're outside. You're reabsorbing all these chemicals into your skin. You need to learn how to release microplastics. You need to learn how to detox from heavy metals and things like that, and do it effectively without tinctures and supplements. Use food as your medicine. I do fast. I intermittent fast every single day, and I try to fast at least 24 hours at least once a month, at least. And usually when I do the 24-hour fast, I usually do that a couple of days in a certain week, because I do that according to cycle syncing, and I do all of that, and that's all the things you also learn in my program, and I teach you how to do that step by step. You said, what's your opinion on the toothpaste brand Tom's? I don't really know. I know there's supposed to be a healthier alternative. I don't know about the ingredients. I make my own products, and I also show that in my 6-week program. I make my own toothpaste, my own mouthwash. I make my own body wash, hand soap. I have an alternative for what is it called? Detergent that is natural. I don't make it. There is a way for you to make it, and you can. I just don't make liquid detergent because it's so easy just to use the soap nuts. But yeah, I make I make my own perfume. I forgot to say that. I make all the products that I know are full of chemicals and are easy to make. It's not hard. I literally use, for all of like the soaps and things like that, I use one base. I make my own shampoo too. I don't know if I said that. They sold out. Who sold out to a corporation? Tom's. You talking about Tom's sold out? I don't know anything about Tom's. I haven't even seen anything about Tom's. So I wouldn't be surprised though, because isn't Tom's also make the deodorant? I think they make deodorant, if I remember. You said, I see your cookbook, but where is your one-on-one program listed? My one-on-one and my program are two different things. So one-on-one is just like a strategy chat that we get. So if you have, for instance, like, let's say you're struggling with diabetes and you have issues with getting your, you know, your insulin resistance regulated and your hormones balanced when it comes to that, because that's all two things that are tied together. That would be something that we could talk on one-on-one if you just needed, you know, advice and support through that. But if you were ready to go plant-based, which is going to support you, and that'd be something that I suggest at the end of our session, that if you know if you really want to transform your health, you need to be in that program kind of situation, then you would have to DM me for the program and the one-on-one too, because I can't link it on my TikTok. I have to switch the links because it's all my links is what I use, and it won't work on TikTok for some reason. So you can DM me if you want the links to that, or you can go to my Instagram, and it's all there on my Instagram and my Facebook and my YouTube. All of it's there. You said non-aluminum deodorant. Oh, that's what Tom's make. Yeah, that's what I thought. And that's the thing. It's like, people don't realize the fact that you don't need non-aluminum deodorant. You don't need all these different deodorants if you are not sitting there with rotting carcasses in your body, one. And two, if you do have, I'm trying to think of it. If you have a body odor outside of sweating, because there's a difference between sweating, okay, I smell because I've been sweating, and then body odor, because a lot of people don't realize that it's not the deodorant's fault that it's not working. It's because your body is emitting a smell that is telling you there's something rotting inside of you, and you don't realize that. And so, yes, you're gonna have the scent of you, sitting there having an odor because you've been sweating, but there's a difference between body odor from where you stink and there's no solution and just a little sweat. And so people don't realize that. So for instance, how it was going around for a while that you can just use limes as deodorant. People don't realize the fact that you can't always use that because you're not always regulated enough with your systems for it to be clean enough for you to be sitting there not smelling on these natural products if you're not eating naturally, if you're not eating real food. And so, for instance, for me, I've been using glycolic acid since, I want to say since like 2021, 2022. I've never had an issue with glycolic acid. But a lot of people that I see that have issues with using glycolic acid and it not working are overweight and they eat terribly. And I'm just being honest. Because I saw one woman she was a bigger woman, no problem with that at all, because at the end of the day, I'm not a small woman at all. But she was a bigger woman, and she was talking about how it does not work, and it's not gonna work, and that you shouldn't buy it. But this was before I started, being plant-based and everything else. And I'm sitting there like, why is it not working? I was eating better. So keep in mind, I was eating better, but I was not plant-based. And I was like, why is it not working for her? It's because when you think about it, your pores are emitting what's inside of you. So when you sit there and you smell and you stink, that's what's going on your insides. And I know this because, for instance, I use an herb called fenugreek. I'm going to say this in preferences now. How do I spell what? I do not suggest or promote any herbs until you go plant-based. So if you are trying to come in my DMs and you're trying to ask me about herbs or anything like that, I'm not going to recommend them to you. Because people want a quick fix and they want something that is going to be a quick little solution, glycolic acid. They want something that's a quick temporary solution. All these band-aids that we have, which you have with medications and supplements and tinctures already. And you don't realize the fact that you don't need a temporary band-aid. You need a change. And so no amount of you sitting here and going and getting, oh, you're talking about fenugreek? I'm confused. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So there's no amount of you sitting here and taking an herb that is going to keep you healthy. It's going to support you unless you change your lifestyle. So for instance, fenugreek. When you consume fenugreek is, I use the seed form. I think there's a powder and there's seed. I've used the powder. I just don't like the taste of the powder. But in my opinion, I think it's more potent when you use the powder. Either that or I just use more. But I make the seeds into a tea. It's going to make you smell like maple syrup. You're going to smell like it. You're going to emit maple syrup. You're sweating. You're going to smell like maple syrup. And you just smell sweet. That's something that's a natural sweetener already just emitting from your pores. So just think about that. The power of you using plant-based sources, how it can do that so much to you. And I started using fenugreek before I went plant-based, I'm pretty sure too. So, or at least it was in the beginning of the journey. So it's like if it didn't work as powerfully as it did, it wouldn't have been emitting through my pores. I would have still been smelling like how I was before, which I wasn't smelly. I was never smelly, but I was using regular deodorant. Because I had to have, because I was using glycolic acid before I went plant-based, so I had to have started using this before. And so thinking about that and reminiscing on that, Just think about the fact that all these people are sitting here sleeping on holistic medicine because Western medicine has told you that this stuff does not work. Think about all the people that have been deceived, and they sit here, hello, and they sit here and they don't realize the fact that their mind has been programmed to not crave natural things. Their body has not been sitting here taking care of it. So you haven't been taking care of your body since the beginning. And here you are 10, 20, 30 years into your life, and you expect your body to be giving back to you. You expect it to be healing. There's no possible way. There's no possible way. You're not conscious of what you're doing to your body, but you're consciously aware of the illnesses once your doctor tells you. You're consciously aware that you need to take your prescription every single day. But you don't even sit there and do a little bit of reminiscing to realize the fact that if you just stop eating all this crap and start using food as your medicine, everything in your lifestyle will shift. You stop using all these chemicals around in your home, around in your body. You'll see your health shift. You won't have to take these prescriptions. Your hormones will balance. You won't be sitting here dealing with all this weight fluctuation. You won't be sitting here dealing with painful menstrual cycles, PCOS, having hysterectomies, sitting here with cysts, fibroids, if I didn't say that already. Y'all don't realize, especially as women, because there's a lot of women in here, and I want to talk specifically to you, that we're trained and we're taught to sit here and wear bras, which are no issue because we understand that we have to be modest, but we're sitting here and trained to wear bras that are literally sitting here throwing off our lymphatic system. It's blocking our lymphatic system. I was trying to think. And that lymphatic system is being blocked, which that means there's no flow in our thyroids. And our thyroids that are here in these glands, that's how you develop breast cancer. So on top of the hormonal imbalances that we have going on inside of our body, we're sitting here adding on more things to our body that is causing stress. It's blocking our lymphatic system. And so you have to understand that they have trained us to throw ourselves off in every aspect. And we don't deserve this. But you have to learn how to take care of your body. You have to learn what it's doing. When you're sitting there getting, because I used to get it all the time, when you're sitting there getting sharp pains in your breast and you're getting sharp pains all around in that area, and you're sitting there trying to figure it out, because I used to get it all the time, and my mom would just say, it's just the wire in your bra. You need to stop wearing wired bras. I stopped wearing wired bras and it still was hurting me. You know why? Because it's not the wire. It's your lymphatic system being blocked. And so that's causing blocks in your ducts. And that's causing blocks inside of your I'm going to say veins. I'm trying to think of the word. Either way, it's blocking your flow. And so it's causing an issue inside of your body that doesn't have to be there by one simple solution. I started wearing sports bras in 2020. After we were locked in the house, I started wearing sports bras and sports bras only. And after that, I didn't go back. At that point, it was just like either I'm not wearing one or I'm going to wear a sports bra. Because at the end of the day, as long as I'm covered up, there is no reason for me to be sitting here making myself ill to make somebody else less uncomfortable. Because you shouldn't be uncomfortable unless you're sexualizing me. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Because we all have them. Like let's be honest here. And so there's no reason for us to be taught and trained to do these things. Now, I'm not saying that you can't wear your cutesy bras and all these different things. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is you wearing this 8+ hours a day, every single day, is going to lead you to having cancer. I promise you, it's not safe. It's not safe at all. They're as cute as they want to be, but they're blocking your lymphatic system. And your lymphatic system has to be flowing for you to be healthy, for you not to be blocked and have cancer. That's causing a hormonal imbalance. And I know that because I used to get this red blotchy rash right here every single time that I started wearing bras again after I stopped wearing bras in 2020 when we finally opened back up and everybody started going back to work and I went back to work. When I tried to wear a regular bra, I used to get these red splotchy things every single time. And I couldn't figure it out. And one day I was talking to my niece and I was like, it's so weird. Like, I was like, I don't wear them anymore, so I don't get it. But like, it used to pop up. And she was talking to me and she was like, that's because it was blocking your lymphatic system. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I was like, you're right though. Like, I was like, you're really right. Because the pain used to be here. It used to be under, and it would be here. I used to get rashes in all those places. It's because your lymphatic system was already speaking and it was telling you, hey, this got to get cut out or something's going to happen. If something was happening, it was brewing. That's the reason why those pains were getting sharper. They were getting sharper and sharper. And I promise you, because it was one time to the point where I had to take it off and massage because it was so painful. It's time for us to realize that we are harming ourselves with the actions that we have. And we haven't been taught how to take care of our body. We haven't been taught to notice the signs and symptoms that are going on to tell that our body is telling us, like, hey, we're being thrown off here. Hey, I don't like this. We're not taught to pay attention. We're taught to make it to the next day and keep going. We're taught to manage and keep going. That's not okay. It's time for us to change and to shift. And if we want that change for ourselves, it's time for us to go get it. And so if you are ready for that and you are needing accountability and you're needing that strategy and you're needing that encouragement through the process because you know that you want this for yourself, but you just don't know where to go or how to start, and you want to be mindful and you want healthier lifestyle habits, and you've never been taught this, and you know you're going to struggle on your own, or you don't have enough time to be educating yourself like I had, and you just need the quick, easy way to get started into this lifestyle, the way to step into it with ease, then you need to come work with me. And like I said, you can get it with Klarna, Affirm, or Afterpay. All of these things will support you in not only being able to start today, but to also be able to be supported in taking care of your body. And so for everybody that's still in here right now, I'll be taking questions for the next couple of minutes. You can drop your questions down below. I will take questions before the end of this live, And I wanted to let you know, if you are not following me on YouTube, all of my past lives are posted on YouTube. So if you are still skeptical or you're not in a space to invest, maybe you have to wait until your next paycheck, but you want to get started today, all of my free content on YouTube is going to support you, because everything that I teach you, I post there from my lives. And that's plenty of free content for you to get enough education for you to get started and understand why you need to do this for yourself and what is going on with our food industry and how we're being poisoned. And so you can check out my Purge to Poison playlist and my Plant-Based Mastery playlist. Those two alone will support you. And I have more content outside of that, but those two right there will support you in getting started if you need that. So drop your questions down below while I'm still here. You said, where can you buy 100%? That's a Google question. It's super easy. And the reasonable price, I don't know. But that's a super easy Google question. You can find that. You can literally search that on TikTok, and there's plenty of brands now that are showing that they have 100% cotton. A lot of brands aren't completely 100% cotton on their website. You're just gonna have to look at the description for the clothing. And if not, I suggest you go to like those boutique shops. Thank you for following me on Instagram. You're so welcome. You said we'll set up sometime with you. Oh, please book that. I will definitely support you, whatever you have going on. I will probably send you an initial message beforehand so that I can get enough information for you to, be able to tailor it towards you, because that's what the one-on-one is. It's tailored for you specifically. It's not for, generic information for everybody, but rather for you to be able to, like, for instance, if you're on some type of insulin and you don't eat pork, do you know that pork is in your insulin, like, kind of situation, if that makes sense. So for you to get enough information by the end of that one-on-one that you can start making changes, like, right then and there. Like, it's not going to be something that you're gonna have to sit back and weigh and do all these different things first and cleanse and detox. No, this is something that you can start right here, right now. As soon as we're done with that chat in that call, you're gonna have plenty of information for you to get started right then and there today. You said, if someone's fatigued from adrenal glands and thyroids, what would you recommend hormone balancing? Any type of fatigue, if you're having any type of fatigue, mental fog, that's an imbalance, and you need a hormonal reset and balance, as well as that's a cleansing and a detoxing situation, because that's a block. You said, now they talk about our soursop has chemicals that will shut down organs. Yeah, no. They'll say anything if it's helping. They'll give us anything if it's helping. Because it's funny enough that, like, I think I have a soursop powder. I think it's a powder. It's meringue. I know I have moringa. I think I have a soursop powder and all this other stuff. And it's like, I don't even use it that often because of how I eat, how I consume. I don't get sick that often, but when I use these things and I'm sick, you can tell the difference, because as soon as I use these things and I'm sick, the illness is gone, the sniffles is gone, the sore throat, whatever else, and I don't get sick that often. But when I do have signs and symptoms, because that's usually how it happens, is I don't let it get to the point of manifesting itself into sickness, but rather I see the sign of, okay, I keep sniffling and I keep having to blow my nose, so that means there's something going on. I know that my eyes have been watery and itchy. There might be some allergies up in the air. I might be a little inflamed, because illness cannot manifest itself. Sickness cannot manifest itself unless you're inflamed on the inside. So it's all about just dealing with the inflammation. That's what I did. And now here I am as somebody who has healed and is constantly healing, because I'm not blocked, because I've stopped blocking myself with food alone and products, but food alone right then and there. I'm trying to see, because I thought I had a comment earlier that I missed. Okay, well, if it's fine if somebody... What's my YouTube channel? It is linked in my bio. Literally just click, I think it's an Instagram symbol. I think that's what it says. It's Instagram. You click on it and it'll pull up Instagram or YouTube, and you can click and you can follow both. Follow one, either which one, that's fine. So, okay. Do you think it takes months to get energy back from adrenal glands? Someone... I'm sorry, you got this. I know you were trying to space that so you had enough room to say everything, but I'm kind of confused. You're gonna have to reset it. You said, do you think it takes months to get energy back from adrenal gland? Was this supposed to be a period there? Is that for someone to go completely plant-based? Yeah, you're gonna have to rephrase it. I'm sorry, love. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what that meant. But far as the energy wise, if you do my 6 or 12 week program, if you, for instance, if you tap into that, it won't take long for you to start seeing transformation. Will it take months for the energy to return? Okay, so I was like, I thought that's what you were trying to say, but I wanted to make sure. Yeah, for anybody that gets into that program, you'll see transformation very quickly. Now, you're not going to sit there and be like, oh, you know, I've been eating my plants for a week, and now here I am being able to wake up at 6 a.m. and run a mile in between then get to work by 7 o'clock. Like, we're going to be realistic here. You've been eating crap for how many years? You've been eating this way for how many years? You have been not taking care of your body for how many years? Your body has to adjust. Not only has to adjust to the fact that you're no longer eating meat and dairy, you're lowering your inflammation, but it also has to adjust to the natural plant-based nutrients and minerals and vitamins that your body's been craving and it's needed. Yeah, so it is an adjustment period. That's why it's people who ask me or tell me that they cleanse before and they're gonna go plant-based after, or they're gonna do a juice cleanse and then they're gonna do it. Like, I tell them all the time, like, you don't have to do all that. Like, let's be honest and cut the crap. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna stick with it. Like, I'm somebody who has lived this lifestyle, and I like to cleanse. I like to support my body, and I mean, I don't like to cleanse necessarily, but I like to support my body, which leads me to cleansing. I can only do that, like fasting and cleansing with just fruits, for a week and some days. And then after that, like, yes, I'm strong and I can do it now, but like, it's really a mental thing. And so you're thinking about the fact that you want to go into a plant-based lifestyle, which you have never done, and you want to do that following you having to sit here and suffer through a cleanse, a juice cleanse at that. You're not going to stick with it. You're not going to do it. You're going to go back to you eating your snacks because you haven't been with your snacks that long. You're hungry. And that's okay to be hungry. If you're hungry, eat. But the problem is that you're not supporting yourself to slowly transitioning correctly. You're throwing yourself into something like you do with diets, which is momentary. And that's what your body is taking this as. This is going to be momentary. I'm not going to stick with this. That's what your brain tells you. I'm not going to stick with this. This is going to be momentary. And so that's the reason why when you sit there and you're like, I just keep craving sugar and I can't figure out why. And you've been done with your sugar, your cleanse with your juices and everything. You've been off sugar for a week or two. It's because your body's saying, okay, the diet's over now. Why are we still doing this? And so that's the reason why your craving is so heavy. And so you said, all right, I lost all my vitamins. I don't know what your lifestyle is, but a lot of people that I talk to, especially for the ones that don't realize the fact that, for instance, eggs, you love your eggs. I loved eggs. I make plant-based eggs now, but I loved my eggs before. Eggs raise your cholesterol. They make you have high cholesterol. Not only does it raise your cholesterol, but it also gives you high blood pressure. They're telling you to break your fast early in the AM, once again, with these high cholesterol, high blood pressure eggs. They're telling you to go get some bacon. Pigs don't sweat, so they're built up with toxins. They're GMO. Now you have all this inflammation in these two different things right then and there. Hold on, y'all. It's asking me to verify myself. Let me verify myself really quickly. Okay, they have inflammation, those two products right then and there, and this is early in the AM, breaking your fast. And then now they're telling you, oh, add in some sugary orange juice that you got because you're drinking this Simply orange juice that's full of sugar. And then on top of that, it's also full of microplastics and heavy metals. Or let's go ahead and throw some inflammatory dairy on top of it. Let's drink some milk. Or let's put cheese eggs with milk. They're telling you to get all of this early in the AM and break your fast with that. And that's the way for you to get vitamins and nutrients, but you're full of inflammation, not even absorbing the proteins and the vitamins and the minerals that they tell you that you're getting from this food because your body's already in fight or flight mode. It's fighting the inflammation. How is it really absorbing? And then these people come back later on and they're like, yeah, I'm iron deficient. I'm B12 deficient. I'm not getting enough protein in my diet, but I eat meat. I'm not doing this. It's because they're lying to you and your habits are so imbalancing. When you look at the My Plate, and the food pyramid, and I think there's a way to do a green screen on here, and if I ever figure it out, we're gonna have a live with that up just so I can really break it down, but we're gonna do a quick breakdown. You look at it, they tell you to get this portion of meat, get your cup of dairy, get your little sides, side of vegetables, whole thing of meat, keep that in mind, side of vegetables, side of fruit, and then they tell you, okay, that's your food. My Plate, food pyramid, all of it's a scam, it's a lie. They tell you to do that, they tell you that's how you need to feed your child. But then you're sitting there wondering why your child isn't gaining any weight. You're sitting there wondering why your child is inflamed all the time and sick all the time. You're sitting there wondering why you and your child are passing illness back and forth. And you're sitting there saying, well, kids just get sick all the time. Kids do not get sick all the time. Kids do not get sick all the time. Them having to have all these hokey pokeys for these kids because they're getting illness, they're getting RSV, they're getting all these different things that are ramping up and getting worse and worse. It's not because kids are just prone to illness because they put things in their mouth. When you are inflamed on the inside, that's the only way illness can manifest itself into actually showing up. Because when you're not inflamed, it can't thrive. That's the same thing with cancer. That's the reason why all these people sit out here and you see, oh, so-and-so has been smoking all of their life and they've never gotten cancer. Not saying that you need to do that, not saying that. But what I'm saying is they're not as inflamed as the people that are sitting here with all these cancers riddled up in their body. You have to look at the inflammation and point the signs of, oh, that's where that came from. But people can't even do that because they can't pinpoint what they're doing to their body and where it's coming from. It's all the matter of understanding your habits and understanding that the actions that you take are going to either harm you or help you. So drop your questions if you have any. I'll be on here about 1 or 2 more minutes. If you don't have any more questions, then I'm going to hop off. Don't forget to follow me if you're not following me here on TikTok. And if they take TikTok, you also need to follow me on all my other social medias just in case they take it from us. Follow me on my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok, my YouTube. If you're watching this later on my YouTube, do not forget to subscribe so that you can catch all the content that I post, because all the content that I post here from my lives and on YouTube or my Instagram, this is free content for you to understand how to support your body and how to start and what you need to do and why you need to do it for free. And if you want the strategy of what I've done and how I've done it for myself and kept myself in this space, then you need to go on ahead and tap into buying into a product or service that I have, which you can get with Klarna Affirm Afterpay. There's no issue. How often do I come on? I come on at least Fridays is my I didn't come on last Friday, so I'm not even going to say Fridays are my guarantee day. The best way for you to know when I'm going live is to get on my email list, because I send out an email before I go live every single time, because I don't have my TikTok notifications on, and I know that a lot of people don't have theirs on either. And if they do take TikTok from us, that will be the main primary source of me telling you where I'm going to be at far as me going live, if it'll be Instagram or YouTube or whatever else. And also being able to get, I do send out my email list. You can, if you cannot get to it for my Instagram, my YouTube, or my Facebook, just DM me and I'll send you to the direct link for you to sign up. But if you are at the space where you're ready for a change, you need to come work with me for sure. I'm going to try to get that link fixed and set up today. That's what I need to do, focus on that, so that I can get that restarted. But if you are needing to sign up for that email, let's just DM me, or you can check it out. It's linked in my Instagram, my Facebook, or my YouTube. But if you just want to the quick, easy way, I'll send it to you. But I'm not seeing any more questions from you guys, so I guess I'm going to hop off. I hope that this live has truly supported you, and I'm going to try to be back on Wednesday, if not Friday. But I hope that you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. Of course, you are so welcome. You are so welcome. If you have any questions, my DMs are always open. And like I say every single time, if you have anything that is questionable, that I have a product or service that will support you, I will point you directly to that. Don't get offended. Don't get mad, because I've had people that sit there and they're like, well, I thought this was going to be free. I give you so much free content. There's no way that you really thought that I'm going to put all that work and that effort into making an ebook or making a product or a service, and you think that everything is going to be free. Like, if you want the free content, the education is out there. I'm using all the education that I've gained over these years, and I just put it into something that is an easy, understandable form that has helped me. Because I've tried plenty of things that did not work for me, but I've done so much that now the strategies that I've crafted are literally foolproof. There is no, like, it's fail proof. If you follow what I show you, it's fail proof. There's no stressors. So I hope that you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And I hope that you enjoy this content. And like I said, go subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already.